Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet, and today we are reading chapters 51 and 52 of Tower of God. So the last couple of chapters were a little bit chaotic, to say the least, because we had a lot going on. We had like Bomb going through some stuff internally and, just a lot of conflict of that sort. Him trying to protect Rachel from Ho, but also like feeling bad for Ho, which I think we all kind of feel too. I know that he's like didn't do a good thing, obviously, but at the same time, I like get that he has this feeling that like people who are more powerful are like not great people, which I mean, fair enough considering the little bit that we saw of his backstory, but also just like power corrupts in general. So I kind of understand where he's coming from, and like the jealousy of like wanting to be powerful enough to protect people and like not be the victim and stuff like that. I understand where he's coming from. I don't think stabbing Rachel was the best way to go about that, but we still need to learn about who wrote the note to him to like go about this whole plan. We had Endorsi showing up and picking a fight with Quant because she's got the badge, she's it. So that fight's about to happen and might actually be a bit of a tough one given that Endorsi is a princess of Jihad, so she might actually put up a pretty good fight against someone even if they are a ranker and stuff like that. So I feel like there's gonna be some actiony stuff happening and then maybe some wrap up of the test as we like end Team B's part and move on. But I feel like there's gonna be some action heavy stuff because we went through a lot of like more philosophical, moral kind of stuff before this. So let's just get into chapter 51. Chapter 51. We had Endorsi versus Quant, which honestly, a fight I didn't know I wanted until we got it. I love the like shadow effect thing that is always going on with the fights because it's a great way of showing that someone's moving really quickly. And I know that it's like not a new trick, obviously, like it's not like the first time I've seen it, but I feel like it just shows the difference between two fights. Like seeing fights earlier between like some characters, even like Endorsi fighting the other regulars before this. We didn't have that kind of feeling to it because she was so much faster than them that like it was like she was in one place and then she wasn't. Whereas like this one you can kind of see the ghost image because Quant is able to keep up with her. Like it's a little thing, but I think it says so much about them being able to match each other better than anyone that like Endorsi has gone up before this point. I also just like that she stole this guy's sword and she's just using it. Like she was just like, this seems like a cool tool to bring with me. Just gonna fight a ranker with it. Why not? Learn on the fly. I feel so bad for Bomb though. I'm surprised he isn't trying to do, like he isn't panicking trying to help Rachel. But I think at the same time, I mean, he probably knows that there's nothing he can do. They can't do anything for her until they leave, right? And he can't like heal her. Does anyone know like basic medicine stuff? Would that help? It is a stab wound. I don't know. I feel like I would be trying to help anyway. I like how there's like the smoke around them too, because it's like no one like outside of that can really see what's going on. But I feel like it's also good for like them because we know that Quant has something going on. I don't know what his power ability thing is that made Lororo freak out, but I haven't seen it yet. So I know that he has something. And I feel like if they're like surrounded by the smoke and the other regulars can't see, then he might actually use it. I like Endorsi though, so I'm a little bit nervous about him using it against her, but I still want to see it. You know what I mean? It's always that balancing act for me. I'm like, I want to see the cool fighting power tactic thing, but I don't want you to hurt characters I like. Plus it just looks cool with the like light emitting from Endorsi's weapon that she has. Just a cool aesthetic to have like the blue light with all the like fog and smoke and stuff. Ooh, good switch though between like Endorsi's perspective or like Quant's perspective and then Endorsi's perspective. Ooh, and then the matching where they have like the similar shots for both characters. Again, just kind of showing that I feel like they're more evenly matched than we've seen before this, because you have them like seen in a similar position, a similar fighting stance thing, even though like one of them's kicking and one of them isn't, but you know what I mean. The panels are matching up to show similarities intentionally. Fire Shinsu, that sounds cool. It makes me think of firebenders though. The whole kicking thing definitely makes me think firebender. But it doesn't necessarily mean that he's a fire user. Fair enough. Just because your family is known for something doesn't mean that you're also good at that thing or prefer that kind of thing. Looks like Bomb wants to get involved though. Doesn't he also have a limiter on the amount of Shinsu he can use? I know that like Quant kind of handed over some, I think, but like doesn't he have a limit for what he can use for this test? So like maybe don't just use it willy-nilly. I know he doesn't want his friends to fight, or he doesn't want the fighting to keep going, but he's still like limited by the rules of the whole test. Wait, what happened? Did she get him? Is she being threatened by Bomb? Or did he push her? Or push Quant? I never fully know what's going on. You see, that's the thing too of like, I don't know how much, I mean, I feel like Bomb sees like most people as friends, but also maybe is on Endorsi's side more than Quant. I don't think he would, I don't know. Would he intentionally attack someone? We're in this weird transitional point, I feel like, with Bomb because of everything that's gone down. So I feel like maybe he's kind of in this ambiguous place right now because could kind of go either way for him. I don't know what he'll do anymore. He's under a lot of stress and stuff. Oh, okay. See, this is so helpful to have somebody hold my hand. Okay, so Bomb used reverse Shinsu. So that was what Quant used in the last one. Gotcha. Nice of him to like learn so quickly though, because I don't think that's one of the things that they were taught. They were still just like making the little bang things. Like they were still trying to like make more than one at the same time and like balance that. And I guess like shoot targets with the Shinsu. So I feel like that's something that like he saw and like learned on the fly. He was like, I don't know, let me just try it. Oh, okay. So how did he pick that up so fast? If I actually read the panel, I would know what's going on. See, all of this like monster imagery too with Bomb is intriguing to me. I've talked a bit about it before, but like I do feel like Bomb has the potential to become something sinister. And I feel like that's something that in general probably the rankers are aware of, given that he's an irregular. I don't know how many of them know that specifically, but he definitely has the potential to cause a lot of turmoil and stuff like that. It's really just the fact that he's like in general a nice person, that nothing too crazy has happened around him. But he's back, Quant is back in serious ranker mode, which usually means he's figuring things out. Oh, so Quant talking about the like limitation on the Shinsu, because I feel like since he kind of like handed it off to Bomb a little bit, that he's already used some of it and then he was helping Bomb with it. It's kind of like a last ditch effort, or used a little bit of it on Bomb with like the reverse Shinsu thing. So he's definitely, I don't know, running a little bit low on reserves and what have you. Oh dang, I want to see his full power though. I legitimately want to know what Quant has going on, because we haven't seen a ranker like go full out, really. I don't think so. No, we've seen them like use their powers, kind of like dabble in showing off their powers, but we haven't seen them like legitimately using their abilities. Dragon Ball reference! Does that mean that Dragon Ball is canon in this universe? Because that makes me very happy if it is. I should have worn my Dragon Ball sweater for this, just for the reference. Oh, the author is a massive manga fan. I like that it was Dragon Ball though, like just kind of slid that in. I like, one, that Dragon Ball is canon in this universe, and two, that Endorsi is a fan. Like I love that out of all of the things that Endorsi could be a fan of, Dragon Ball. Love it. See, this kind of makes me think of, I don't know, which comic is it? I can't remember, but there's a Superman comic where Superman is fighting, gosh, I don't even remember, Darkseid? Maybe? And it's a pretty like famous comic book moment where he gives the World of Cardboard speech, which if you were familiar, then you know what that means. But he talks about how he's lived in a world of cardboard his whole life because he is so strong. He's so much stronger than everything around him that he has to act like basically everything is cardboard for him. He's so close to breaking everything that's around him. And then in this one fight, he says, you know, like, now I don't have to worry about breaking you, so I can go full out in my power. That's what this makes me think of, with Quant being like, now I can use my full power because I'm up against someone who isn't going to break if I use it, or isn't going to break right away. I don't know how well Endorsi will live up to that power. Just sitting on the sidelines, Serena hanging out with Ho. I mean, I feel like Serena and Ho definitely had like a bonding moment when they were talking about like forgiveness and stuff like that. And I feel like if anyone can kind of understand where Ho is coming from, I feel like it's Serena, because she's been through a lot of stuff. She's a very like morally ambiguous person in general. Not that like anyone really in the tower is on the moral high ground really, but I feel like she knows what it means to be doing something strictly for survival. Like she understands that feeling, and like coming from a place of being poor and needing to do what you have to do to survive and feel like you have some kind of control over your life and stuff like that. And I feel like she sort of understands Ho, and like, I don't know, I feel like she also just feels like, because her and Ho talked about like forgiving each other and like understanding that they are going to betray each other and probably use each other for their own gain, that she like feels like protective of him because this is someone who will forgive her, and that's not necessarily the case with like other people. Like she has to forgive him because that was their promise, but also he's promised to forgive her. So I feel like she feels kind of reliant on him for that, in that she wants to be forgiven for probably awful things she's going to do in order to succeed in going up the tower. Because I feel like it's kind of a similar thing with like why Kun and Bam are like so close. Like why Kun is so reliant on Bam, because he needs someone he can trust. That's like a big thing for him, is he just like doesn't trust people, but he knows that he can trust Bam. So like that's why they're so close, is because he just needs someone that he knows like 100% he can trust in. So I feel like that's kind of where Serena is, of like she knows that like Ho and her are like, gonna forgive each other. Hope that makes sense. Oh, okay. Sure, so that's sort of what happens when a Rancor and a Princess of Jihad fight. Noted. Will stay clear. I love the blue light though. I think it's so cool with like the design of this whole test, because it's supposed to be dark, that it's just playing with light a lot. And I love artwork that plays with light, because I can't do it very well. But when other people can do it, I just find it fascinating. And it's one of those things that's like a lot easier to do when you're doing digital art, which is how this comic is put together. Like it's so much easier when you can just have like an emitter layer to have cool lighting effects than doing it analog. So I appreciate some cool artwork with the dark background. Plus it puts a lot of like stark shadows, which I talked like a little bit about in my Bleach reactions for the Fullbring arc. Go watch those if you want to, shameless plug. In that arc too, there was a lot of things happening at like dusk and early morning. So there was a lot of like really stark lights and shadows. And I talked about how that was a great way of showing that like all of the characters had that good and bad in them. They had the light and the dark, like consistently. They had they had two sides to them, because like half their face would be in shadow and half of it would be in like this really bright contrasting light. And like different colors got associated with different characters and stuff like that. And we kind of associate certain colors with certain emotions. So like even here we have like Quant, the red. So the red eyes, the red hair. Red is a very like passionate, angry, fiery, kind of, really emotive kind of color. We associate a lot of things with red that are very kind of emotionally consuming, and having Quant associated with that it shows a lot of his character, because he is very much like that, where I feel like he has very strong emotions, or he at least portrays himself in that way, that the aesthetic works with it. Whereas like having Endorsi with like yellows are usually, it's kind of a mixture, because you can have yellow be associated with kind of bright light, like sunflowers, sunshine, that kind of thing. There's kind of an innocence to yellow, but also yellow is associated with like corruption and illness and rot in some ways and madness, that kind of a thing. So there's like these two halves of like this kind of joyous, innocent kind of feeling, and then this kind of rotting, corroded kind of thing too. Like if you've ever read the story, I feel like I'm making a lot of references to other things, but if you've ever read the story The Yellow Wallpaper, and you should, because it's great. I won't give away too much of it because I feel like you should read it, but The Yellow Wallpaper is basically the story of, from the perspective of this one woman who's in this room, and it has all of this peeling yellow wallpaper in it, and throughout the story you kind of like see her mentally deteriorate. She like slowly goes more and more crazy as she's fixated on this yellow wallpaper, and that kind of plays off of the idea of yellow being a mixture of things. Like it kind of starts off as something that's very like joyful and bright in the room, and is something that she just thinks is very pretty and lovely, and then like the more time that she looks at and spends with it, the more it becomes this like grotesque thing that like infects her mind and stuff like that. So I feel like Endorsi having those two sides to like just even the color choice for her kind of fits with her character. She feels kind of playful and youthful when you first kind of see her on the outside, but even over the past few chapters we've learned like more about who she is. There is this kind of corruption, and what she sees is kind of like an illness. She sees herself as a monster, as a bad person, and I think if you asked her, she would think of herself as kind of rotting on the inside but very pretty and approachable on the outside. Being able to play with those a little bit more with having the dark background, especially if you have like a dark setting, you won't put a bunch of detail in the background because it's very dark. There isn't a lot of light. So I think it just brings forth those kind of things to the whole aesthetic. I want to rant about colors there. I apologize. The last video, it was all bad puns. This one, it's rants about colors and too many references. I don't know. It's where my brain's at. I really don't know who's going to win this fight though. I find that fascinating. I also like how consistently Quant is like in shadows. Like he'll just be like a silhouette. There's something very like forbidding about that. Like there's something ominous and almost like intangible about just having like a shadow. I mean, obviously he has this like shadow power thingy, but still. I think that's an interesting contrast too of like how Serena's like in so much shadow, but then Ho's kind of gold yellow hair is like more lit. Again, because like yellow is also thought of like gold, but gold in itself has a lot of, I don't know, baggage to it. On the one hand, gold is pretty and it kind of shows wealth and that kind of stuff, but also wealth corrupts and like gold's only worth a lot because we think it's pretty. Honestly, just like another rock, but we're like, it's a pretty rock though, so it's going to be worth a lot of money. So kind of the contrast, especially since like Serena was a thief, so I think having anything associated with wealth so closely associated with her is interesting. And the fact that like she isn't golden or in the light or anything like that. Uh-oh, is Bob getting involved again? I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how he feels about it. Looks like Endorsi's getting involved again. Taking the chance when Quant is hesitating. Ooh, yeah, because he can do the reverse thing. Catching on. The reverse Shinsu thing. So he's like messing with Quant so he can't like move around and stuff. He's getting good at it. Good for him. That's a cool practical use of being a Shinsu user. As opposed to just like having an output, like I don't know, shooting Shinsu at people, being able to use it for like a little bit more of a tactical thing. Endorsi catching on to what's going on. I guess she's like basically just the grin in this panel because we know Endorsi likes a good fight. That's true too. I guess like not fighting, not getting involved is also a kind of loss though, like just like deciding to lose immediately instead of trying to win. I don't know what I would do though. I'm not a fighter really. Oh, I love that shot too. It's cool though because like we have like the two of them like actually fighting with each other right after Serena with her two shots, and I feel like that's almost like her fighting with herself. Like there's her past self and then there's her current self, and she's talking about how like looking back she has regrets about the way that she used to be or that she used to act, and her being like well her like being able to see it in hindsight now. Like obviously in the moment I'm sure that she was acting the way that she was because she thought that that was the way to survive and she was just doing the best that she could in that moment. But now that she's had a slightly different life, met other people, become a different person in some ways, that she can look back, and especially when you're just like out of a situation, a stressful situation, it's easier to like think back and be able to contemplate exactly what's going on, and you can kind of connect things a lot better when you have more of a view from like the outside. So I feel like Serena fights a lot with like her own internal things than necessarily like external foes and stuff like that. I love all the blur effects working together, like it. But also I feel like Bomb has like a vested interest in the winning, because if they win then they can get out of the test and then Rachel can get help, which is probably where his brain's at. Yeah, they're definitely gonna try and take his badge. Ooh, what happened? Probably don't want to go for her clothes though. I feel like Endorsi has a attachment to her clothing. Did he get faster? He said he was gonna fight at his full strength, so I guess he should be faster. I mean, I don't know. I don't like to dwell on the past a lot because I feel like there's no point in it to be like, what if? I understand where she's coming from, but I don't know. I think trying something despite the risks is easy to say when it's not like a life or death kind of thing. Like when trying might end with you dying, I kind of understand like not getting involved. You know, that's me all the time. I do not get involved in things that might risk my life. I like my life. It's good. I like the part where I'm alive. I kind of get it, but at the same time, I suppose when that means like not getting involved means other people dying in her place, and her talking about how like she never really had people consistently around her, and even when like she did, when she had like the people that she was, I don't know, being a thief with, they all ended up dying around her. I'm sure that she feels a lot of survivor's guilt about that, kind of in the same way that Ho does. If we're making more connections between those two, Ho also lost a bunch of people and feels that guilt because he thought like, well, if I had been more powerful, if I had been born with the kind of strength that Bomb has, could I have saved people? And I feel like that's kind of where Serena is, but in the, if I'd realized that I could have done something, could I have saved some people? If I'd even tried to save them, could I have? Or would it have just ended it with me dying? And would it have been worth it? Would it have been worth it to try and fail than her choice of like not trying at all and it having the same outcome anyway, but her just having to like survive or like live with the guilt of having survived? I don't know. It's a difficult conundrum, I think. Oh, we got the side of her vest with a badge. Nice. That was a close fight though. It was like a final move of like whoever ended up being the fastest would end up winning. Hang on, what happened? Was there a decoy of some kind? Oh, is that what happened? She had like a decoy badge and she hid it somewhere else? I agree on the you just need to keep going kind of thing. Even if it's just like the smallest thing. I feel like a lot of the time we think about like what will make us happy and content, and we think of these like really big ideas like being in a certain place or owning a certain thing or being in a certain career or whatever, like big life things that take years to get to. And sometimes you just need tiny things in your life that just make you happy, and you do them just because they make you happy, and it's okay. I don't know, that's where I am always at. I'm like, I just want tiny things in my life. Obviously there's big things too, you know, big goal type things, but I'm not like I will be happy in the future. I'm like I will be happy now and also in the future. I am a glass is all the way full kind of person sometimes. Sometimes I'm very pessimistic, but I like to be optimistic, at least about things I can control. And what I can control is that drinking a second cup of tea makes me very happy. Watching puppy videos, very happy. So I'm gonna do it anyway. I like Quant going through like a crisis on the side. And the like beep thing, I guess, like the test is over, just like all the way over the panels. Aw, Bomb's little smile. I want him to be, it feels like a sad smile though. I want him to be actually happy, but I feel like that might not happen for a little while. He's gone through some stuff. I have a bad feeling about the symbolism of him closing his eyes, or her closing his eyes maybe. I don't think Ho's gonna survive this. Or Serena though. She's so used to people dying around her, I feel like, that she's just gonna like live with the guilt more. I like the gradient though from like the dark to the light. I feel like we're leaving the test, so good transition. Oh, look at Anak with her hair back. Little ponytail, we saw it before when they were doing her hair. Yeah, no, I noticed the underwear decoy. I decided I decided to focus on the cleverness of the decoy instead of the means by which the decoy was created. It feels very like Endorsi though, that it would just be something like with some vague sexual overtones. That would just be like her way of getting around it. What are these little things? Taking them away. I want a closer look. I want to know what they are. Kun, are we done pretending we're asleep? Because I feel like we were pretending we were asleep. And they won. Look at Team B go. Technically they both won though. Can we talk about how both teams technically won and Kun just didn't want his team to win? Like, way to have some extremely talented people on both teams. Isn't that something that like they talked about before though? About how maybe it was like Lororo with like Hung Sung or something, talking about how there was like a lot of really talented and powerful people in the tower at this point, and they were like, something's definitely going on. Like there's something weird about this particular group because there's so many like particularly powerful people. Cleared. What's the next test gonna be though? Is it actually the end? No, we get extra stuff after the title card. This is always my favorite. It's like a bonus scene. Oh, hello. Is this back? Is this Lady Yuri's team? Didn't she have the person playing the video game? I want it to be Lady Yuri. Oh, hello, giant creature. What are you? Is that a giant hammer? Should I be concerned? Did someone have a giant hammer on Lady Yuri's team? I can't remember. It feels like so long ago. There she is. I mean, it probably takes so long to go up a floor because you can get like teleported up like Bomb did. I'm so excited that we're getting even like a brief moment with Lady Yuri because everything I've seen with her, she's been delightful. We also haven't met Evankel, which makes me suspicious. Especially since she's saying they're avoiding Evankel. I feel like that's foreshadowing some things. Hey, the floating city thing. Haven't seen that in a really long time. Like that particular shot. Aw, poor Evan. I'm very excited. Okay, next chapter. Chapter 52. I wonder what the aftermath is going to be, other than like people getting medical treatment. But we have not seen this shot in a really long time, like Evankel's floor from like the outside or like the test area from the outside. I don't really know if they're inside of this floating city thing or if that's just like part of the floor, because I know that they were like under it in the beginning when they were all fighting each other. Like you could see it, I think. I don't remember. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. It's entirely possible. It's weird to see it so bright now. I got used to the like dark coloring of the test. Rachel getting her medical treatment. Bomb in another new outfit. Ooh, free food. I would definitely be figuring out what the food situation was. I'd just to investigate, you know, just to find out if anything's changed you know, you gotta try lots of it, and scientific method has to be repeatable results, you know, so you gotta try it a few times. Just saying. So the tests are like over. Was that like the final test then after them going through the classes? I would assume so, because that's what they were like getting points for, was for their classes. And the food isn't very good. Oh, he looks sad though. He's also alone, which makes me also sad. I'm assuming that's Rachel? Maybe it's the bandage on Rachel. I'm not used to seeing Bomb so sober. Him just being sad, but also like resigned, you know? He always has kind of like hopeful feeling to him. Doesn't feel the same now, which obviously, given everything that happened, is kind of understandable. Deep sea fish, is that the new little mini arc story thing? What does that refer to? Guess we'll find out. Is that Endorsi? Does she have her hair back too? Different outfit? But I think also like whenever the outfits change, like even now, outfit change, but it's happening like after what I think is like this important transitional point. And it's just like a great little moment of like, one, obviously clothes get ruined while doing certain tests and going through certain challenges, but also it shows that they're slightly different. Like you still know that they're the characters, they don't look completely different, they're not going through like a full change. It still fits with their style and stuff like that, but they are different people, even if slightly, because they've gone through the test. So it's always like kind of like they change clothes regularly, but it's like at specific moments that there is like kind of symbolism to it. I think everyone's going to be a little bit more somber though, because someone who used to like eat lunch with them and make jokes and stuff, not only tried to possibly kill one of their teammates, threatened Bomb, which is like not a good thing to do. Everybody loves Bomb. It's just one of those like universal constants. We all like Bomb, but they were also like kind of friends with Ho, and so it's probably weird that he did that, but then also he died. So, you know, it'd be a weird atmosphere, I feel like. I like the hair back though on Endorsi. Still has a 3-eye pin though, which I've been told is a good thing that I noticed. Apparently, it has significance, and I shall remember it. Why do I feel like in this panel, Hoon is like judging her for copying his hairstyle? Because he has the clips, he's got the ponytail going on. It just feels like he's like, excuse me? But I guess also kind of awkward between them, because I don't know if they exactly got along, but I feel like they also, I don't know, sort of understand each other. I feel like they have some similarities, but also I don't think that their personalities really go together. When she knows, see, I feel like they have like an understanding, but like they don't necessarily, I feel like their personalities clash, but they also understand each other. The low-key judgment though. Of them just being like, I know more than you think. Just them like flexing that they know what's going on. Oh, is the free food really not good? Are eels good? I've never tried eel. I know that eel is something that other cultures and people eat. It's not a thing that I encounter in my place of Canada. I don't think I've ever seen around, just like on a menu. I don't eat a lot of seafood though. I don't know. Is eel good? Would eel be something that, I don't know, would be a recommendation? Not that I'm gonna try it because vegetarian, but I'm just curious. What is the blue drink? Soda of some kind, from it saying soda? When I see blue, I always think slushies, because blue slushies are like iconic. Shibitsu, is it a treat if everything's free? Are the drinks free too? I don't know if that counts as a treat. I do like all the advertisements though. We have like Lady Yuri and then like Lororo, all the like, you know, ads of the rankers. I guess would they be like marketable? I guess they would be. They would be celebrity to some extent. Yeah, okay, see, it is free. I'm like, Shibitsu, I don't think it counts as a treat if you're offering something free to your friend. Does Shibitsu know what happened? Like what went down in the test? I feel like if anyone could figure it out by just like deduction and observation, it would be Shibitsu. I don't know if he'd say it outright, maybe he would, but because we might be getting into that conversation, but I feel like he could probably pick up on it, especially since we have like a darker tint over Kun, which kind of is a little ominous. See, I feel like that comment too of like Shibitsu putting on maybe the facade of being just like a supportive friend. I mean, I know that he is a supportive friend in general, but also might be like, it's not your fault that we lost, even though it is, because you're the reason that our team lost intentionally. You know, it feels a little bit like he's trying to get a reaction. You know, like he's like digging for information a little bit. Maybe that's just me being suspicious, paranoid. I also just noticed that we had a transition to the blue drink, and blue is like Kun's color too. If we're just going on continuing our rants with colors, just like blue tints now. Because blue is a very like, I don't know, I think of it as being a very like logical, I don't know, wisdom, kind of like, it's cooler. There's something kind of laid back, relaxed about it. But it also makes me think of water, which like can seem really calm on the surface, but then there could be a bunch of stuff going on underneath, you know? Which I also feel like fits with Kun. The kind of calm exterior, but there's a lot of stuff going on underneath all that. Yes, I heard in one of my comments that one of them early on, I think because I was talking about the like, he has like the flag or something, that he is Argentine football player reference to him. People always given comments, putting comments on my videos to make sure that I pointing out stuff like that, little details that I wouldn't notice, especially since I don't know anything about football. He also looks sad. I feel like because he kind of knows that someone is going to go home from his team, like people aren't going to make it from his team, and he's going to feel a little bit of guilt about being part of the reason for that, but I think also it was something that he's willing to do, you know, to have his friend come with him. Who is it? We never found out who the note was from though. I really want to know. I feel like it might be Hangsung. I'm just suspicious of him. He seems shifty. Is it Rock? Because no one else says Turtle. Oh my gosh, is it? I love him so much. Is this are we gonna get Lady Yuri and Rock in the space of 2 chapters? Because I don't know if my heart can take it. Just greeted with a headbutt. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy he's here. I missed him so much. Just the two of them glaring at each other. They missed each other. They did. It's a little one though. Why does he look so tiny? Yeah, I'm like, why is Rock so small? It's cute though. I loved Rock before, but now he's travel size. Aww. Why though? Why is he so tiny? Coffee? Why? What does coffee do to him? Okay. Getting a backstory. Normal Rock. What are we running into? Is it Hangsung but without his hair pulled back? Dun dun dun. Aww. Is that why he's tiny? Because he picked a fight with Hangsung? And his response was, now you're a chibi. That's adorable. I love that. I love everything about that. I want Chibi Rak to be around forever. Maybe not in times when they're fighting something and then he can go like, you know, Hulk mode. But on all of the other moments, I want Chibi Rak. I'm assuming it's gonna wear off at some point. Oh, now he's just a tiny ball of rage. I love him so much. Asking for help to be normal sized again. Aww. He just wants to be normal sized again. You're only good for cheating. I mean, Kun is good at playing the system, isn't he? I like how they're just like different types of turtle in his brain. Sneaky turtle, black-haired turtle. Aw, I like how he's like, I don't even care, but like, is Bomb okay? Cause like, you know, I'd hate to not be the one who fought him. Obviously. It's not because I care. We all know Rock cares. Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like Bomb probably can get to the next floor, but if he can't take Rachel with him, he's probably having a crisis about what to do. Again though, I stand by my thought that like, I don't think Rachel is so singular in his like motivation, his brain anymore. He has so many other reasons for progressing up the tower and doing his own thing. He's more of his own person now, so I don't know what he'll do. See, I don't know if it's his goal anymore. That's my thing. Plus, I feel like he's gonna want her to still have her dream of getting up the tower, so if she can't do that, then it kind of goes back to the whole, like, didn't we have like a whole speech moment of like what happens if she can't get her dream? Why are there, wait, I'm not even gonna comment on what's going on in that panel. Oh, I forgot that they let Rock think he's the leader of their team. I guess that's kind of why Kun is a little bit in a mood too. It's because even though Bomb probably has enough to pass and like pass the test and stuff, because Rachel got hurt, there's a lot of ambiguity about what's going on. I mean, I think there's ambiguity. Kun seems to feel that Bomb is not coming up the tower, like the decision is already made. I think there's more going on. I feel like Bomb is still trying to figure out what he's gonna do. I'm just picturing tiny Rock barging in and like trying to carry Bomb off. It'd be cute. I'm interested to see how those two decide to go about, like, I don't know, leaving Bomb or taking him with them. I don't know. I feel like Kun wouldn't force Bomb to go with them, but I feel like Rock might. Is that the end? Really the end? I want to know what Bomb's gonna decide though. So I feel like I have a lot of feelings after that. I feel like we had a lot of intense stuff with Endorsi versus Quant, which I feel like was a way closer fight than maybe I would have initially thought. I mean, I feel like they would have been pretty close, but they were like really close in their fight. And the fact that Endorsi was able to outmaneuver him is just, I mean, not necessarily based on pure, I don't know, power set, because I feel like he was faster than her. So like when it comes to like maybe raw fighting ability, maybe Quant is better, but the fact that Endorsi Endorsi outsmarted him is like why she ended up winning. She had the decoy, she was able to trick her way into winning, which I think says a lot about like Quant in general, because that's what Kun did. Kun outsmarted him. So just being really strong as a ranker doesn't necessarily mean that you have the strategic way of thinking and stuff like that. So like those were the characters that were able to win out against Quant because they were smart enough. Now what happens when you find a ranker who is also very strategic and good at thinking a bunch of steps ahead? I think then it's going to be more of a challenge. That might be something that comes up soon. It's like the next, if we ever encounter a confrontation like this with a ranker again, I'm assuming that's going to be what happens. They won't be able to just like maneuver and trick their way into winning that fight. I feel like it's going to be something a little bit more intellectually based in how they go about that. I feel a lot of bittersweet feelings at this because we've kind of ended this wonderful little respite where they were just going to classes, they were just being friends, they were just hanging out, living their life, and then now it's over and they all kind of feel a lot of different ways. Some of them are going to be passing to the next part, some of them aren't, so we're going to be leaving behind some characters when they meet up. I'm assuming that was part of what everyone meeting together was going to be, is to say like this person's going to pass and this person isn't. Some of them feeling betrayed, some of them like just upset because they lost someone, like Ho died, so that has to affect a lot of them. You know, Bomb kind of in the middle of not knowing if he's going to stay with Rachel or keep going, or dealing with all of the stuff of people betraying, like his friends not being what he thinks friends should be. You know, like with Endorsi and the other people on his team, him kind of thinking more about the moral ambiguity of it and stuff like that. So like a lot of heavy things, but also some foreshadowing about Lady Yuri coming back. Love her, want to see more of her in the story. We've kind of put a pin in her whole, I don't know, involvement in all of this. I feel like hopefully she'll show up again soon. It's going to be a little bit of a surprise, I think, when she shows up and Bomb just doesn't have the Black March anymore. That'll be fun to try and explain. She's going to have to try and get it from Anak, so we'll see how that goes down. And then also my wonderful Rak coming back, being in chibi form, causing mayhem, calling everybody turtles. I absolutely adore him. Just like, you know, some kind of like lighthearted stuff too, of like kind of joking, trying to break the ice kind of thing as well, which I feel like Tower of God does a really good job of kind of balancing between comedy and some of the more serious stuff, which I really appreciate because I don't want it to just be heavy, serious stuff all the time. I want some humor. I want some Dragon Ball references just thrown in there. I adore that. A lot of stuff going on. I feel like in the next chapters, we're going to find out who passed, who didn't, and see what the decisions are going to be with like Bomb. We'll see if Rock actually does force him to come with them if he has to. I don't know. I really don't know what Bomb is gonna do. I feel like saying he's gonna go up the tower because that's like the plot, right? You'd have to, he's the main character, and if he doesn't keep going up the tower, then that kind of takes away the plot. But at the same time, I don't know, because there's so much world to the tower. It's not as simple as like an actual just like physical tower where you have to go up all the floors and then, you know, it's there's whole worlds contained within it, and there's so much other stuff going on. I feel like you could have like parallel stories of like Bomb dealing with other stuff, Kun having to go up the tower, and like other characters having to go up the tower. So I honestly don't know. I don't know where this is gonna go, because even if Bomb's like, I'm not gonna keep going with the group, Rachel still needs medical care. They're still in the tower. Like, can you just leave, or do they kick you out or whatever? Like, I feel like there's still a possibility for like a really interesting story, because even if Bomb does decide not to keep going up the tower, he still isn't the same person. He's not gonna go back to what his life was. He can't. So I don't know. I don't know how it's all gonna turn out, but I'm excited to find out. I'm sure there'll be some like things I couldn't even think of that just kind of happen, like some plot twists or characters reveal stuff. Like something's gonna happen that I can't even predict at this point. As we just get like closer and closer to like the end of the first season, I feel like something is gonna happen. I hope you enjoyed reading those chapters along with me. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you don't miss next time I post a Tower of God video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!